What about some of the people around him? Dick Cheney, for example, doesn't strike me as someone who would be particularly motivated by idealistic visions.
And I tend to agree with that. It's hard to know for sure because he's someone who keeps things pretty close to the vest and shares his views very confidentially with the president and a few others. But certainly you can't discount the large oil reserves inside Iraq and how much that plays into our national security interests. And I don't think you can discount how much that plays into the vice president's thinking.
Or his portfolio, for that matter.
Or his portfolio, for that matter, absolutely, with that being a former chief executive officer for Halliburton. And that certainly played heavily into his thinking, more so, I think, than the idea of transforming the Middle East into a beacon of democracy. If he had a crystal ball, and he could see what had happened, the consequences of his decision in Iraq, before he had made the decision, I don't think he ever would have made the decision to go in and invade Iraq.
You think he'd do it differently a second time if he could?
Absolutely. I think he's very politically pragmatic, and I think he believed that the casualty rates would be, probably less than 1,000, and that it would have been completed by now. And when you start getting up into 4,300 killed, 30,000 wounded, and upwards of 100,000, all the way up to maybe even close to 1 million innocent Iraqis killed, I think he would have taken a different course of action.
Now, you say your book is about well-intentioned but flawed human beings who shaped history during George Bush's time as president. Do you still consider Dick Cheney and Karl Rove and Condoleezza Rice well-intentioned?
Well, I think for the most part it's well-intentioned. I can't get into every single person's head and know exactly what they're thinking or what their motives are, nor do I know whether or not the vice president may have been pushing certain things maybe in a sinister direction. I don't know of that.
Do you think Dick Cheney would do it differently a second time around?
No. Well, he might have done some military things differently, but I think he was determined to see Saddam Hussein removed from power and would continue to encourage that.